The countdown is 7. Welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. We are starting a brand new year of movies. It's 2015, and we're taking a look at the first two films that were released on the second day of the new year, as well as our 2014 leftovers. We have a lot of films to get to here, so let's just go ahead and jump on into it. We'll start off with the biggest of the new releases this week, the sequel to The Woman in Black, even though there's nothing really connecting this to the original film. The Woman in Black 2, Angel of Death. During World War II, the London bombings forced two school teachers to evacuate a group of children to the coastal village of Crithen Gifford. While the refugees take shelter at Eel Marsh House, one teacher, E. Parkinson, realizes they're not alone. Little does she know that what lives in the house is more sinister than what they are running from. So yeah, according to this movie, if you have a choice between being out in war-torn London, England, or being in a haunted house, chances are you'd be better off in the war-torn London right now. But come on, man. I mean, this is the definition of a sequel that clearly was never meant to be a sequel. This is probably meant to be its own straightforward movie, and they needed a hook to sell it on. So they said, "Hey, this Woman in Black movie's successful. Let's go ahead and do this." Like, that's what it feels like when you're watching this movie. The atmosphere is there, but there's nothing really else about it that makes it stand out or anything. It's just kind of a generic haunted house movie, and not even a good one. Like, this makes the 99 Haunting movie look better by comparison, and that's saying a lot, because that movie is fucking terrible. But this is pretty bad. At least the 99 Haunting movie is a fun kind of terrible. This is just boring terrible. I mean, this is nothing exciting, nothing engaging about it. So yeah, it's the first movie released in the new year. Of course it's going to not be good, but I digress. Let's go ahead and move on to the other big new release this weekend, and that was A Most Violent Year.
A Most Violent Year, rated R, December 31st.
One of the year's big Oscar contenders, which really didn't happen for this movie in general. It got a lot of Golden Globes and Critics' Choice Awards, but yeah, the Oscars sadly passed over this movie here. And I do mean sadly, because this is a pretty damn good movie. It stars Oscar Isaac as a fuel supplier who tries to adhere to his moral compass amid the rampant violence, corruption, and decay that threatens his family and business in 1981 New York City. He has to deal with a woman played by Jessica Chastain, David Oyelowo, who was Justin Selma, Alessandro Nivola, and also Albert Brooks. And this is directed by J.C. Chandor, whose previous movie was the Robert Redford movie, All Is Lost, which was a very underrated film overall. But then he followed this up with Triple Frontier, which I've never seen before. And his most recent movie was Kraven the Hunter, which, yeah, need I say more about that one. But this was a really good movie. This film really did feel like he was trying to go back to, like, the days of, like, these gritty crime films of the 1980s, stuff like, you know, The First Deadly Sin with Frank Sinatra, or The Verdict. A lot of Sidney Lumet caliber filmmaking in this movie, from the writing, the direction, the cinematography. This film has that dark, grisly look to it, and I enjoyed it because of that. The acting overall is really good here. The film does a very good job of sending you into this gritty New York City that was around in 81, and it just works all the way across the board, man. It's a really good, underrated gem of a film. One I highly recommend checking out if you haven't seen it. Not much more to say about it, except A Most Violent Year definitely is worth the watch. So, quick reviews on those ones here. So let's get to, actually, there's going to be a lot of quick reviews here, because not a whole lot of these movies are memorable, except for a couple that we'll get to here. But we have a lot of films to get to on this list here. So let's start off with the first one on this list that I have here, and that is David Wayne's latest film, They Came Together.
If you love stories.
You like fiction books? I never met anyone else who likes fiction. That is too funny.
And if you love falling in love, then you will love this love story.
Hey, you look different.
Really? You think so?
You got Groucho glasses on.
There's, of course, David Wayne's follow-up to Wanderlust, Role Models, Wet Hot American Summer, all funny movies. This one, not so much. It's essentially a parody of romantic comedies where you have Joel and Molly, played by Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler, who meet. It's hate at first sight. His big corporate candy company threatens to shut down her quirky indie candy shop, but amazingly and predictably, they fall in love until they break up, and they must find their way back together. It's a parody of romantic comedies infused with the comedy of the Stella Group, Michael Showalter and David Wayne, who also wrote the script for this, and it does have a lot of funny elements to it, and does continue a good streak of movies overall, but this is nowhere near as good as his other movies. I think Wet Hot American Summer, Role Models, and Wanderlust are much funnier movies overall. My biggest problem with the movie in this particular film is that the parody level here tries a little too hard. I feel like they're trying to go back to what spoof movies are supposed to be like with the Naked Gun movies, but not like what Friedberg and Seltzer did to the spoof genre around this time. But it sadly just doesn't work this time around. It's a film it's a film that does have its funny moments here and there, but when they do the romantic comedy parodies, it feels really forced. A show like The Simpsons, when they did their parody of romantic comedies, I felt did it a whole lot better because they had a story around it where they were making a romantic comedy like a Hallmark Channel Lifetime movie, and this wasn't around. Those weren't the norm when this was coming out. So it was a film that just really, I don't know. I'm very conflicted on it. I like it, but it didn't really live up to the expectations I had with it overall, especially considering what David Wayne has done in the past. I feel like this should have been a much better movie, considering his work beforehand. It's not a bad movie, but it's not one that I would say it's one I watch on repeat all the time. I had it on DVD for the longest time, and I just got rid of it a while ago, mostly because I'm probably never going to watch it again. At least I think I did. I'm not entirely sure if I did or not, but yeah, it's a movie where it's fine. Nothing too spectacular, nothing too amazing, but for a movie directed by the guy who did Wet Hot American Summer, I kind of expected a little bit more than that. So here's another indie film from another director who made a film I kind of liked beforehand, Drinking Buddies. This is Anna Kendrick, Melanie Linsky, and Lena Dunham in Happy Christmas.
Babysit for a few hours.
Yeah, no problem.
Stay out as long as you want.
Hey, baby, I'm stealing her for 1 second. You having a good time? Yes. Jenny. Ow!
Jenny?
I'm fine.
This is a movie where you have Anna Kendrick as an irresponsible 20-something who arrives in Chicago to stay with her older brother, the director of the film, Joe Swanberg, who's a young filmmaker living a peaceful existence with his novelist wife, played by Melanie Linsky, and their 2-year-old son. Jenny's arrival shakes up their quiet domesticity as she and Carson, played by Lena Dunham, her old friend from high school, instigate an evolution in Kelly's personal life and literary career. This is a movie where it's not as good as Drinking Buddies was. Drinking Buddies was kind of a fun little film from the same director and also featuring Anna Kendrick, and I think that movie did it a whole lot better. Kind of like when they came together. It's a movie where you could see the ideas of where they're going with it overall, but it just didn't really live up to what I think it could have really lived up to. I just thought it was kind of an okay film. Anna Kendrick, I think, really is the best thing about the movie, and I think Lena Dunham was actually pretty good in this. I know she got kind of a bad rap after Girls Ended, but she really wasn't that bad of an actress, and she's good in here. The movie overall it's again, kind of a forgettable movie, but nothing too bad, nothing too good either, just kind of in the middle overall. I mean, I think it's alright. Don't think it's as good as Drinking Buddies was, but I thought it was okay, so. Now let's go ahead and move on to another movie that's an indie film, and that is Aubrey Plaza in Life After Beth.
It's better why? Why is that better? It's from the Old Testament.
Why's all my stuff in boxes now?
So it's basically My Boyfriend's Back, except switch the boyfriend to the girlfriend and do it for a new generation and get kind of about the same results as My Boyfriend's Back did. The story of this movie is that you have a guy named Zach, played by Dane DeHaan, who, after his girlfriend Beth, Aubrey Plaza, has died, has been reanimated as a zombie. Zach struggles in trying to grieve the Beth that he knew while also trying to prevent the zombie Beth's deterioration. Rather than focusing on the zombie apocalypse happening, the film follows Zach navigating his relationship in suburbia. And at times, the movie can overall be pretty funny, but kind of like with My Boyfriend's Back, it's a movie where, you know, that movie's a film that has a lot of ambition to it and works for the most part, but doesn't work all the way through. It doesn't feel like, it feels like it wants to be something unique and different, but wants to be more mainstream in the process. This film feels just like that, too. I think it's just as good as that film in the fact that, you know, at times you get a good laugh every once in a while, but then you don't really get to see a whole lot in general here. I think Aubrey Plaza overall is the best thing about the movie in general, but this feels like an idea that probably should have just been like, you know, a TV, like at the very least a TV pilot, or at the even least of that, a sketch on Saturday Night Live. This feels like mostly a sketch that probably was blown up for feature length, and it just doesn't work overall. It doesn't work as a film in general here. I think Aubrey Plaza is the best thing about the film overall. At times there's some good laughs here and there, but it's a mostly forgettable movie overall, so take that for what you will. Let's go ahead and move on to the next film I have here, and that is the WWE produced, the first of two WWE produced reboots of classic franchises, if you even want to call it that, with the other film that they did this year, Leprechaun Origins.
Whoa. Now that's creepy.
Yeah, you all deserve to die for this. Also, the people who made the movie probably deserve to die, some people would say, but we'll get to that in just a second, because there's a notable director involved in this movie that rebooted another horror franchise to better success than this. This is, of course, the reboot of Leprechaun, the classic horror comedy from the 1990s. This time they decided to go all in on the dark horror aspect of it, and yeah, bad call on that one, buddy. Backpacking through the lush Irish countryside, two unsuspecting young couples discover a town's chilling secret. Ben, Sophie, David, and Jenny quickly discover the idyllic land is not what it appears to be when the town's residents offer the hikers an old cabin at the edge of the woods. Soon the friends will find out that one of Ireland's most famous legends is a terrifying reality. Just like this movie is a terrifying reality. Now, the director of this movie is a guy by the name of Zach Sapkowski, which that might not be a name you're familiar with unless you saw Final Destination Bloodlines, and you realize that he's one of the co-directors of that movie. So yeah, he was able to turn that series around. Leprechaun, let's just say this movie, he admittedly despised the original Leprechaun movie, so he wanted to make a scarier Leprechaun that was more grounded in reality. And, of course, the ironic part of that is that when this movie came out, it was considered the worst film in the series for being too serious and no charm or humor. Here's the thing about the Leprechaun movies. They're supposed to be comedies. They're horror comedies. I mean, the original is one of the prime examples of a fun horror comedy that knows exactly what it's doing. I mean, for God's sakes, Leprechaun went to space. He went to the hood twice. So, yeah, this is really not the direction this thing should have gone down. I mean, this film, wow, this was an unbelievable mess of a film. And again, surprisingly that it came from the same guy who would eventually go ahead and rebrand Final Destination for a new generation. This is also the same guy who also co-directed Kim Possible, the Disney Channel live-action movie, which was also bad too. So maybe it's just the fact that, maybe he just needed to get to a franchise he actually could get behind. But what's the WWE comparison here? Well, the Leprechaun is played by Dylan Postal, who was better known as his wrestling ring name Hornswoggle. And that's it. That's really all you need to know about this movie. Yeah, not a very good film, thrashed by critics and audiences when it came out. Yeah, 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. You have to be pretty bad to get 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, just like a movie that came out this weekend, Psycho Killer, did, by the time I'm recording this, on February 22nd, 2026. But, yeah, I think you get the idea. This movie is not very good, so let's go ahead and move on to a good movie. This time we have Dan Stevens starring as the guest.
Your guns. I'll cut you a deal. No, I'm going to kill you.
Be our guest, give our gunshots to the test. I mean, it's fitting because this is Dan Stevens, who would later go on to star as the Beast in Beauty and the Beast, the remake, but this is a movie where he plays a U.S. soldier called David, who unexpectedly visits the Peterson family, introducing himself as a friend of their son who died in combat in Afghanistan, and after he stays in their home for a couple of days, a series of deaths occur, and the daughter, played by Micah Monroe, who's going to later be in It Follows, suspects David is connected to them. So yeah, this is directed by Adam Wingard, who also did You're Next before this movie, and this is a really good movie. This is a film that is basically kind of a Jason Statham action film up to date. Like, this would be the type of film you would see from like A Working Man or The Beekeeper, except you've got a young, talented actor in Stevens doing kind of badass things in this movie. He is pretty fun in this movie overall. Like, he knows the situation he's involved in. It's kind of like the non-horror version of The Stepfather, where you have a guy coming into these people's homes and he basically is going in there to save the day for them at the end of it. And you also have a cast that includes Brendan Meyer, Sheila Kelly, Leland Orser, Lance Reddick. So a very, very solid cast in this movie of young talent in here. Ethan Embry, Joel David Moore. It's a really good movie. It's a really good, underrated film that came and went when it came out, but it's a film that really does not get a whole lot of attention overall, especially for Adam Wingard, who, was rising up in the ranks with this and also You're Next, and then he's going to do Blair Witch before he eventually would come over to Godzilla vs. Kong and kind of establish his name overall. really solid film. Really solid overall, underrated film. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it. I highly recommend checking it out. The Guest. So let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, and that is one of Robin Williams' last movies before he passed away, featuring a star-studded cast. This is A Merry Freaking Christmas.
I love you.
Look at this pile of crap. This country's so damn excessive, it makes me want to puke.
Where's Douglas's stuff?
Wait, and I left all of Douglas's stuff in Chicago.
Get in the truck, Gladys. We got Christmas to say.
Yeah, this is definitely not one of Robin Williams' better movies to end his career on. I mean, I haven't gotten to The Angriest Man in Brooklyn yet, which I don't even know if that's coming out this year or it comes out in 2015, but he was great. He was good in Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb, but yeah, this definitely is not that film for him to come back on. But I mean, let's take a look at it. Boyd Mitchell, played by Joel McHale, and his family must spend Christmas with his estranged family of misfits. Upon realizing that he left all his son's gifts at home, he hits the road with his dad, played by Robin Williams, in an attempt to make the 8-hour round trip before sunrise. And talk about a major disappointment. Not only with a great cast, it also includes Oliver Platt, Wendy McClendon-Covey from the Goldbergs and Reno 911, Candice Bergen, Lauren Graham. The director of this is Tristan Shapiro, who you may not know the name, but you have definitely seen his work if you watch shows like Community, 30 Rock, Happy Endings, New Girls, Children's Hospital, Workaholics. I mean, he's a great TV director and has a chance to really go out there and show what he can do with a film. Unfortunately, this is a movie that steals from a lot of Christmas movies, and I mean a lot of Christmas movies. Like, its own cover for the DVD of this has to resort to using Christmas Vacation as part of its quote, like, you know, this Christmas is no vacation, with Christmas and vacation and capitalized. It's just kind of like, come on, man, really? I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think anybody could have gotten lazier with a tagline than the Asylum Sunday School musical that references Sister Act in the same way. Like, even though none of these films have anything to do with those films in particular, the script is just lazy, stealing moments and cliches from Christmas Vacation. You're stealing stuff from Harold and Kumar Christmas, Bad Santa. They even throw a plot point to Jingle All the Way, of all things. Which, to be fair, is much better than the actual Jingle All the Way movie we're going to get to later on here. But the cast is just wasted in this. There's nothing to the story here. They don't want to be in this movie. There's comedy bits that may work with McHale and Williams as son and father. Sometimes those work over well. And a couple of throwaway scenes, like a brick getting thrown through a window to get into the house, does get you a quick laugh here and there. But the comedy overall is mostly forgettable. I mean, this thing was a massive disappointment because we've seen so much of this done much better in other Christmas movies and TV shows. And really, you expect much better from the people involved in this movie. There are so many other better new Christmas movies that were released that have been released recently. Arthur Christmas, The Best Man Holiday. I mean, those ones I would say recommend more than this. This is just a waste of time, talent, just a real lame film. A really, really lame film. No wonder it went straight to DVD, because, yeah, it's definitely not that good. So, let's get to some good movies finally, hopefully, with Justice League War, as we start our Toy Boat. Let's get to Justice League War, the first of our 3 DC movies for 2014. How about that? This is based off of Jeff Johns and Jim Lee's Justice League Origin, where you find the world's finest heroes finding the Justice League in order to stop an alien invasion on Earth. And you have people played by... Superman's played by Alan Tudyk, Jason O'Mara as Batman, Michelle Monaghan as Wonder Woman, Christopher Gorham as The Flash, Justin Kirk as Green Lantern, Shamar Moore as Cyborg, Sean Astin is Shazam, and Stephen Blum is Darkseid. And as far as the movie goes, it's pretty good. Not one of the better animated movies they've done, but a pretty solid movie overall. Again, the voice acting, top-notch. Tudyk, I thought, was really good as Superman. Mara's pretty good as Batman. Monaghan's pretty good as Wonder Woman. The rest of the cast is really good, except surprisingly Stephen Blum as Darkseid. And Stephen Blum is a terrific actor. You know, he does the voice of Wolverine in the X-Men animated series, X-Men and the Wolverine and the X-Men. And also he's Cowboy Bebop, but surprisingly, he didn't make a good Darkseid in this. His voice just feels way outside what you expect to hear when you hear Darkseid. Like I always think of Michael Ironside from the Superman animated series, perfectly capturing that character and fitting that role. Blum, as great as an actor he is, it really did feel like they missed the mark on that one there. But the animation overall is really good, fitting into the same style as the last Justice League movie. The action sequences overall are pretty solid. The animation, like I said, pretty good too. Story works in general here, not a whole lot of scripting problems overall. It's a pretty solid film overall. Not one of their best movies, but definitely shows that they can still put out quality entertainment overall. Such is the case with their next movie that we have here, Son of Batman.
It's easier my way.
Robin! Your play, Damien.
Which technically Justice League War was supposed to be the beginning of this new continuity for the DC animated universe, and comparing this to Justice League War, I mean, I like it, but it's nowhere near as good. In the story here, you have hidden atop a secret mountain stronghold lies the League of Shadows and its fearless leader, Ra's al Ghul, played by Giancarlo Esposito. Together with his equally dangerous daughter, Talia, Morena Baccarin, he oversees a trained army of assassins with plans for global domination, but an uprising from within the League now threatens to shift the balance of power and sends Talia and her young son Damian, played by Stuart Allen, fleeing to Gotham City. While assassins are on their trail, Talia seeks the protection of Batman, Jason O'Mara, who, unbeknownst to him, is the boy's father. With his son in tow, Batman wages war against the villain Deathstroke, played by Thomas Gibson, and the League of Shadows, all while teaching his headstrong boy that one cannot fight crime by becoming a criminal. With help from Gotham's finest, including Commissioner Gordon and Nightwing, Batman will soon discover that his son and most trusted ally are one and the same. And for the most part, it's a mostly okay movie, mostly because of the story in general here. It's the first time DC's loosely adapted the storyline and most of the stuff in here is basically new stuff that wasn't in the original source material, and it's mostly kind of bland and forgettable. To its credit, though, the animation and the voice cast still pretty good overall, but the story really is the major flaw of the film. A lot of the new elements they add in here are pretty cliched overall. They're overplayed big time to the point where nothing new or creative comes out of it. And I feel like after Justice League War, there could have been something really, really grand to continue the storyline here, but the story and the big changes they make kind of are really bad choices in here. The voice cast and animation are very good still, but it's the story and the lack of anything new or creative that really kind of makes this one of their weaker outings overall. Not a bad film, but certainly not as good as what they had beforehand. So we have more Batman here with our next movie here, kind of a precursor to the Suicide Squad, and that is Batman Assault on Arkham. So in a way, this definitely is a lot better than the Suicide Squad movie that came out 2 years later. And, really, that's not hard to see why if you saw the Suicide Squad movie. But this is actually a film that is based off the Batman Arkham video game franchise and occurs after Arkham Origins, where you have the Suicide Squad, particular Batman villains like Deadshot and Harley Quinn, with Batman as a supporting role, even though his name is on the title of this movie. In it, the Suicide Squad of 6 criminals is dispatched by Amanda Waller to break into Arkham Asylum, where they must contend with the asylum's inmates and Batman as they attempt to complete their mission. You've got Kevin Conroy returning once again as Batman in this. You have Neil McDonough as Deadshot. Hynden Walsh playing Harley Quinn, although I thought it was Tara Strong, but she actually played this role in the 2004 Batman series they did. Matthew Gray Gubler is playing the Riddler. Troy Baker, CCH Powder, Nolan North, and Martin Jarvis are playing their characters of Joker, Amanda Waller, Penguin, Alfred Pennyworth from Arkham Origins. And you got Jennifer Hale playing Killer Frost once again. And yeah, this definitely is the much better Suicide Squad movie than the Suicide Squad movie we got. For one thing, the characters are much better represented here than they are in the live-action film. The story moves much smoother. The editing isn't all over the place. The movie actually does a good job of bringing the Suicide Squad to life much better than the DCU movie did. And yeah, there are some complaints overall. The story could move a little bit smoother, but there really isn't much of a story to go around here. It's just Amanda Waller calling these criminals in and say, hey, go into Arkham, do this mission. And that's about it. I mean, that's pretty much all you got here. Even some of the voice actors in here really don't flow very well here. Not to say that about Conroy or Baker or Pounder or North or any of the cast. They do their fine, but Hynden Walsh's Harley Quinn just didn't do it for me. I mean, Arlene Sorkin and Tara Strong have made that character much more. That's what I think of when I think of Harley Quinn overall. I like Hynden Walsh overall. I think she's great as Starfire on Teen Titans, but she just couldn't make the character work this time around. And I have it's probably a good reason why they didn't bring her back for another Harley Quinn storyline here. At least as far as I know, they didn't bring her back. But other Other than that, though, the movie overall works. The animation is nicely done. You actually do feel more invested in the characters here. You get more in nearly everything that you get here than in the Suicide Squad movie. So, yeah, simple review. Watch this over Suicide Squad. It's definitely the better movie. So, let's go ahead and move on to yet another direct-to-video franchise film. Beethoven is back with a new film, Beethoven's Treasure Tale.
Beethoven is back.
Yeah, this one definitely is the lesser of the Beethoven movies, and that's saying a lot. Let me just put it this way. When I wrote my original review for this, I went usually to Wikipedia to see if I could find any information on this movie. And this was in 2018. This came out in 2014. I wrote my review in 2018. There's literally nothing on Wikipedia. There's no page, no cast listed, no director or anything. Just one sentence, and it says, the plot of this movie is, after getting fired from a film, Beethoven begins the long journey home with his trainer Eddie, once again played by Jonathan Silverman. They become stranded in a small coastal town where the beloved canine befriends a young boy who's searching for buried treasure. Beethoven's Treasure Tale was released on October 28, 2014. That paragraph I just read to you, that's the entire thing when you look this movie up. It's so forgettable that that Wikipedia doesn't even have anything else to say about it. I mean, the film doesn't even know what continuity it's trying to keep itself in. Because remember, the last movie we saw Beethoven in, none of these characters were in this movie. The one before this features all the characters from this movie here. It's the same guy. It's the same guy from this. It's the same guy, Jonathan Silverman from Beethoven's Big Break, but he wasn't in the Christmas movie, and mostly because the Christmas movie largely, basically disregard. It's a really odd thing because this movie because that movie, Beethoven's Big Break, disregards all the storylines from the previous movies, and then the next movie they do disregards what's happening in this movie, and now they're going back to it again. It's just like, I'm confusing you just as I'm getting confused by this. Like, none of this makes any sense whatsoever. Like, this is bad. This is a really bad movie. I love Beethoven. Like I said, I've talked about how much I wanted the Saint Bernard growing up as a kid because of Beethoven, but yeah, this movie is pretty bad. It's just dull, forgettable. I mean, it's so forgettable that I've already forgotten about it, and I just watched it again not too long ago. It's just like, that's how bad it is. You'll instantly forget about it, not but a few hours after watching it. Yeah, I got nothing else for you on this one here. So, how can it get any worse? Well, let's take a look at our last movie and find out. Larry the Cable Guy stars in yet another WWE-produced sequel that really does not need to be a WWE movie. This is Jingle All the Way 2.
This is going to be the best Christmas ever!
Oh, bitch, don't even look at me. You're the one who said yes to this. And also, kid, settle down. This movie is not worth being excited for about Christmas so much about this. Yeah, this thing, Jingle All the Way 2. This is supposed to be the official sequel to Jingle All the Way, the Arnold Schwarzenegger Christmas comedy, even though he's nowhere in this movie, and this plot really has nothing to do with the original film. But two desperate dads compete in a no-holds-barred battle to be the best father and make the best Christmas ever. Fun-loving, laid-back dad Larry is having a bear of a time to finding the perfect Christmas gift for his 8-year-old daughter, Noelle. Yeah, Noelle. This script really is not giving a fuck. The season's hottest toy, Harrison the Talking Bear, is all sold out, and Noelle's new stepfather, Victor, wants to keep it that way so he can be the one to make her holiday wish come true. When Larry learns that all she wants for Christmas is Harrison, he'll stop at nothing to get her the toy of her dreams and make her happy. So what's the WWE connection in this movie? The other star of this movie is Santina Morella. I have no idea who it is because I don't watch the WWE, but I should also mention that this is directed by the same guy who directed the Woody Woodpecker movie from 2017. I think I've given you every bit of information to stay away from this movie. This film is awful. This film makes the original Jingle All the Way look like It's a Wonderful Life by comparison. That's how bad this movie is. I'm willing to bet you this had nothing to do with Jingle All the Way at all. This was a film that probably was a lackluster Christmas movie that was supposed to be like an ABC family TV movie, but somewhere 20th Century Fox said, if we put a name to a franchise that we have here, this is similar to, Jingle All the Way. Let's put that to this movie. People will buy it. And no, they didn't buy it. This thing was thrashed by critics, quickly came and went, and yet ABC Family still airs this movie, or I'm sorry, Freeform still airs this movie on 25 Days of Christmas because, of course, Disney has the rights to all the 20th Century Fox movies, so they play it with Jingle All the Way, which, yeah, when you watch Jingle All the Way and then Jingle All the Way 2, you can definitely tell which one is the better movie. The one where, Arnold Schwarzenegger is telling Troy the Terminator's telling Troy McClure, put that cookie down, no! Yeah, not much more to I can really add to this. Jingle All the Way 2, what did you expect? Well, that was pretty bad. So, yeah, that's going to wrap up this 2014 leftover episode of Time About the Movies, as we'll, next week we have one movie, and it's not a very good one. It's Liam Neeson returning in Taken 3, and that's the only big new release this weekend. And then nothing else comes out that we're talking about for the next weekend, but we're going to do another one of these things where I'm going to make 2 weekends into one show. We're going to take a look at Taken 3, and then we're going to take a look at the 3 films released on January 16th, which include Kevin Hart starring in the comedy The Wedding Ringer. We have Paddington, the big screen debut of Paddington Bear. And we also have Michael Mann's latest film with Chris Hemsworth, Black Hat. So, also Julianne Moore in her Oscar-winning performance in Still Alice. So 5 films overall to take a look at next time around, and we'll cover all these for the next 2 weeks worth into one show. That'll be tomorrow here, so be on the lookout for that. But with all that said, though, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.